You've got the sleep tracker on your wrist, the calorie counter on your phone, and maybe even a continuous glucose monitor stuck to your arm. You're doing everything right. So why do you feel more stressed about your health than ever? Welcome to Better Health Faster. I'm your host, and today we're exploring a significant shift that wellness researchers say defines 2026, the move from optimization to regulation. This isn't about abandoning health data entirely. It's about asking whether our pursuit of perfect metrics has become its own form of stress. Let's look at what the research actually shows. After a decade of biohacking culture and quantified self-movement, something curious is happening. The wellness industry is telling us to slow down, not because tracking doesn't work, but because for many people, it's backfiring. The 2026 Global Wellness Summit identified this as one of the year's defining trends, a shift from relentless optimization toward what they call nervous system regulation, from performance metrics to emotional repair. And this isn't just industry marketing. There's real neuroscience behind why chasing numbers can leave your body feeling depleted, even when those numbers look great on paper. To understand why this shift is happening, we need to look back about 15 years. The quantified self-movement emerged in the early 2010s with a simple, compelling promise. If you measure something, you can improve it. People started tracking steps, then sleep cycles, then heart rate variability. Soon, biohackers were experimenting with cold plunges, red light therapy, nootropics, and continuous blood monitoring. And for some people, this worked remarkably well. Having data created accountability, seeing progress in numbers felt motivating. There's nothing inherently wrong with tracking your health. But research on obsessive healthy eating, sometimes called orthorexia, and exercise addiction, began revealing a troubling pattern. For a growing number of people, wellness pursuit was becoming its own health problem. The constant self-monitoring created a new kind of stress. Researchers call it wellness anxiety, the paradox of becoming less healthy in the pursuit of perfect health metrics. Meanwhile, a separate branch of health science was gaining momentum, research into the autonomic nervous system, the body's automatic control center for stress and relaxation responses. Scientists discovered that chronic stress and nervous system dysregulation underlie many health conditions. Your body can look healthy by the numbers while your internal regulatory systems are overwhelmed. According to the Global Wellness Summit's 2026 Trends Report, data-driven wellness can tip from motivation into fixation, with many people now experiencing what researchers call analysis paralysis from constant self-tracking. The summit describes a recalibration toward what they call regulation over results, sensation over scores. The focus is shifting from performance optimization to emotional repair and nervous system safety. This isn't about rejecting technology. The summit notes that consumer-friendly neurotech devices are actually arriving in 2026, including vagus nerve stimulation tools and EEG-guided sleep devices. Flow's recent FDA approval for at-home neuromodulation signals growing clinical momentum for these technologies. But the goal has shifted, not optimizing performance, but restoring baseline regulation. Traditional practices are being reframed through this lens. Breathwork, yoga, and movement methods like Feldenkrais are increasingly described as nervous system medicine with measurable effects on regulation. The American College of Sports Medicine's Fitness Trends Survey for 2026 confirms that wearable technology remains the #1 fitness trend. But here's the important shift. The focus is no longer just on collecting health data, but on how that data is being used. Are you using it to support sustainable habits, or has it become another source of anxiety? The Global Wellness Institute reports that longevity focus is also shifting from lifespan to health span. It's not just about living longer, but about quality years. Vitality, not just duration. So what does this look like in practice? The wellness experts I've been reading suggest it starts with what they call the foundational four: sleep, movement, nutrition, and social connection. That probably sounds unglamorous. No exotic supplements, no expensive devices, no complex protocols. Just the basics that humans have always needed, done consistently. But there's wisdom in this simplicity. When your nervous system is chronically activated, adding more complexity often adds more stress, even when that complexity is supposedly healthy. The Global Wellness Summit's overarching theme is grounded in fundamentals: consistent sleep, movement that feels sustainable, social connection, and a diet built around whole foods. Researchers describe this as moving from optimization overload to integrated wellness, from performance to emotional repair and nervous system safety. NPR's coverage of 2026 wellness trends highlighted that this shift isn't about abandoning goals entirely. It's about choosing goals that your nervous system can actually sustain. There's an important distinction being made between acute stress, the kind that challenges you and promotes growth, and chronic stress that keeps your system perpetually activated. Acute stress from a challenging workout or a cold shower can be beneficial, but chronic low-grade stress from constant self-monitoring, that may be doing more harm than good. Your vagus nerve plays a central role in this regulation system. It's the main communication highway between your brain and your body's organs, particularly your heart, lungs, and digestive system. When your vagus nerve is functioning well, it helps you shift smoothly between states of alertness and relaxation. When it's impaired, you might feel stuck in fight or flight mode. This is where practices like slow breathing, gentle movement, and even humming come in. They directly stimulate the vagus nerve and help activate your parasympathetic rest and digest response. Research suggests that 5 to 10 minutes of slow, deep breathing can measurably shift your nervous system state. That's not a biohack, it's just biology. The science here is actually quite well established. Slow breathing at about 6 breaths per minute has been shown in multiple studies to improve heart rate variability, a key marker of nervous system health. So here's a practical starting point. Before adding anything new to your wellness routine, consider doing an audit. Look at your current tracking habits and ask one honest question. Does checking your health data generally leave you feeling empowered and informed? Or does it more often create anxiety, comparison, and a sense of never being quite good enough? If tracking is working for you, genuinely working, keep doing it. But if you notice that it's become another source of stress, you have full permission to scale back. Try this for 1 week. Check your health metrics only once per day instead of constantly. Notice how you feel. Does the reduced checking increase your anxiety, or does it actually decrease it? Instead of exotic biohacks, prioritize the foundational 4. That means protecting your sleep, finding movement you actually enjoy, eating mostly whole foods, and maintaining real human connections. If you want to try nervous system regulation practices, start simple. 5 minutes of slow, deep breathing when you wake up. That's it. No apps required, no equipment needed. Remember that sustainable beats intensive. A 15-minute walk every day for a year does far more for your health than an extreme protocol you abandon after 3 weeks. Here's something the research is clear on. Social connection is as fundamental to health as diet and exercise. Loneliness and isolation are independent risk factors for cardiovascular disease and early mortality. Yet social connection rarely appears in biohacker protocols or optimization routines. You can't quantify a meaningful conversation or track the warmth of being truly seen by another person. The summit researchers put it this way: we need to move beyond performance toward emotional repair and nervous system safety. Feeling safe is itself a health intervention. Now, this doesn't mean we should ignore promising technologies. The neurotech devices receiving FDA approval are backed by real clinical evidence. They may genuinely help people with anxiety, depression, and chronic stress. But be cautious with consumer neurotech devices that lack rigorous testing. The vagus nerve stimulation trend, while promising in clinical settings, has attracted products with questionable efficacy claims. Some argue this de-optimization trend may swing too far toward dismissing helpful health metrics. Skeptics note that nervous system regulation is harder to measure, making it susceptible to pseudoscientific claims. There's also debate about whether this represents genuine scientific progress or simply rebranding ancient practices: yoga, meditation, breathwork with neuroscience language for marketability. This is a fair criticism. When yoga becomes vagal toning and meditation becomes neural downregulation, we should ask, is the science adding genuine insight or just providing a contemporary vocabulary? My view? Probably both. The underlying practices have value regardless of what we call them, and the neuroscience lens may help skeptical minds give them a fair hearing. What matters most is finding practices that help you feel genuinely regulated and restored, whether you frame them in neuroscience terms or spiritual ones or no particular framework at all. If you find this kind of evidence-based health content helpful, consider subscribing. We explore topics like this every week, always focused on what the research actually shows rather than wellness hype. Looking at the broader picture, the 2026 trends suggest we may be entering a more mature phase of wellness culture. Less about extremes, more about sustainability. Less about performance, more about presence. The quantified self-era taught us valuable lessons about the power of measurement and accountability, but it may have overcorrected toward treating our bodies as optimization projects rather than organisms that need care. Organisms need rhythm, rest, and recovery. They need play and pleasure, not just productivity. They need community and connection, not just individual metrics. This is the essence of the recalibration, remembering that health is not a destination you arrive at through perfect optimization. It's a dynamic state that requires ongoing attention to how you actually feel. So here's your invitation. Pick one thing from this episode that resonated with you. Maybe it's the 5-minute breathing practice. Maybe it's reconsidering how often you check your health data. Maybe it's calling a friend instead of scrolling through another health article. Whatever it is, try it for a week. Notice what happens. Your body will give you feedback. You just have to listen. Remember, this isn't about perfect adherence to a new set of rules. That would just be replacing one form of optimization pressure with another. It's about finding what genuinely supports your well-being. As the Global Wellness Summit researchers concluded, consistent sleep, movement that feels sustainable, social connection, and a diet built around whole foods. These fundamentals remain the foundation. The wellness recalibration isn't about abandoning technology or data. It's about putting them in their proper places, tools that serve you, not masters that drive your anxiety. It's about remembering that your nervous system needs regulation before it can benefit from optimization. Feeling safe and calm isn't a luxury. It's the foundation that everything else builds upon. I hope something from today's episode serves you well. This is Better Health Faster. Remember to consult your doctor before making significant changes to your health routine. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you next time.